All right. Starting from the definition of environmental psychology, which states that it studies the relationship between environment and human behavior, as well as how they affect one another. So this
So,
environment, yes, somebody said, say, sorry, somebody said, say, all right, you can write in chat. Okay, so this environment includes, sorry, it studies the relationship between you or the environment and human behavior, which means your behavior as well as the relationship, the correlation between your behavior as well as your environment that you are found in, as well as how they affect one another. And also these environments include social settings, where we enjoy our time, where we spend our time, our friends, family, and all those concepts which run around social settings, and then goes to built environments. The meeting actually I'm recording, I will send you the recording, but since let me just allow you. So, and also built environments. Built environments come from also involve, hospitals. They're also part of built environments. Work environments for those who go to work. School environments, church environments. Anything that is built in environment. Because building also carry cultural concepts, carry also instructions as well as do's and don'ts around such a place, as well as learning environment and as well as informational environment. So those are part of the environments that are looked through. For social settings, I might give an example. Let's say a wedding or a party or even an educational gathering, in another sense, is a social setting. And then it comes to built environments. Let me give even grades. They are also built environments. Let me give to work environments. So built environments involve almost all structures which have been constructed by human beings. Learning environments, environments that give us chance to learn through the structure of the buildings, through the mechanism and the alignment of such environments. And then comes the informational environment. Then I go to libraries, what else again? Museums. It can also be part of informational environment as well. So that is the definition for environmental psychology. So whenever you are writing something, try to find a lengthy definition which try to give an explanatory concept. Another definition by Stockholm and Altman, 1987, they defined environmental psychology as the study of human behavior and well-being in relation to the social physical environment. In relation to social physical environment as well. So that is what environmental psychology, according to Stockholm and Altman. But then looking at also Russell and Snodgrass, depending with your pronunciation, 1987, the branch of psychology concerned with providing a systematic account of the relationship between a person and the environment, providing a systematic account. Remember, we are scientists. Whatever our approach that we put, or our methods that we can use to gather information, our methods that we can employ to study any other concept, we will adopt scientific methods. So that's why they are concerned with providing a systematic account. So which means a systematic account is a scientific account, which gather the aspect of trying to describe the event, trying to explain the event, trying to predict the event, and also also producing valid methods or reliable systematic methods in analyzing the event as well. So that is what providing a systematic account of the relationship between a person and the environment. Are we together? I assume so. If we are together, you can put a thumbs up, show that we are together. So humans, they react both consciously as well as through unconscious aspects around areas which we live in or work in. And the effect of those environments, or whether those environments, either natural or man-made, they tend to carry certain effects around ourselves, such as our feelings, the behavior, general health issues, and productivity. From the aspect of environment in industrial psychology, there was an experiment which was carried out in Japan. They wanted to understand the effect of changing atmosphere and productivity. But what they did, they just influenced the air we breathe. At the aircon, they put a lemon and lime in the breath, and they said it increased 18% of the productivity that people tend to do. No salary increment, nothing, but just changing the air we breathe, just putting lemon and lime, and it improves the production rate, even the results that came out, and also the precision of working as well. And also some reported feelings of relaxation, as well as that feeling of like you're at your house as well. So those are some of the aspects that also environmental psychology tend to look at. Since this one is a man-made atmosphere, which somebody tended to manipulate to add extra things. Looking at work environment, some they added enough lighting, enough space for working, as well as certain authority. Remember, we are looking at the environment. So people were given what? Lighting. That was the environment which was outside. And then people were given space to work around. That was the environment that was being outside, as well as bringing in this aspect of the air to breathe and so on. So these are the aspects of the environment, isn't it? And also outside in that space also comes with the influence towards feelings, behaviors, general health issues, depending. Some they don't like congested places. Some they like places with enough space as well when it comes to working. Some they consider also environmental hazards and they want to counter such scenarios. So those are some of the things that tend to be affected by environmental or by our environment as well. So some of the goals of environmental psychology is to solve problems involving human environmental interaction. Solving such problems as much as you try, but the goal is to solve problems involving human environmental interaction and to create, manage, protect, and restore environments that promote proper behavior. It's very good to have botanic gardens, for example, in Windhoek, the likes of Zopas, even though it's quite open to public, but it's good to have such places where people can sit in, where they can synchronize with nature, where they can reevaluate their feelings, reevaluate their approach towards life, as well as such kind of things. So researchers, they tend to diagnose problem situations and bringing out recommendations. The most discussion that is quite prominent about climate change. It's not only for environmentalists or safety and health managers, but also for psychologists. How does climate change affect the way we behave or respond to certain situations? Very good example, some of the notable studies that people always share around where the influence of temperatures to certain areas. In another words, there was a research conducted which also come to a conclusion that areas of high temperatures, they tend to behave in A, B, C angles. Now looking into this winter, what kind of behaviors people do in winter that they don't do in summer? What kind of things that people tend to like that they don't like any other season due to environmental influences, which comes to even the weather is the environmental influence. And also our built environment, how they are structured, per se against the environment. Let's say our classrooms, how they are structured towards the environment. Since it's winter right now. Last time when we met with others, they said the classroom was cold. It influences other people to behave in various ways. For example, even not to pay attention to class. That's another behavior. Now imagine it on bigger issues rather than just in classroom. From just your house, involve the whole neighborhood, involve the whole location, involve the whole suburb. then involve the whole nation and see the impact that will carry on. Some of also the environmental aspects, like environmental hazards, that tend to happen. Environmental hazards, let's say probably you know fire unattended, and then it creates smoke and blah blah blah. You see now how can it affect people or your people who live in that area where the fire was? And let's say the fire goes to an uncontrollable situation where it becomes dangerous. How do people tend to act? Since it poses a risk towards their behavior, it can burn their assets, it can burn their cars, and also any other aspect that can come. Apart from looking at that thing, how can we build our environment in a better way that can promote engagement as well? All right. So environmental psychologists, as we have said, they assess, analyze, advise on personal space and environment in general. So they work in teams with other professionals, urban city planners, architects, economists, engineers, and designers, etc., etc. So which is quite important as well when we are looking at architects, architects when they are designing buildings or when they are designing uh, what do you call it areas of our influence as well. So these guys coming from environmental psychology or economics, they come and then give their precision or their information that they gathered from people. Very good example, like the example I've given last time. There are certain cars for those who own cars or for those who know much about cars. In a way, you buy a car that suits you well, like that speaks to you. That is the question I will give to you. All right. Looking at brief history of environmental psychology, a brief history from where we start from until we reach where we are. You know, every aspect or everything there is a historical perspective. Apologies, apologies. All right. Can you see a brief history? A slide written brief history. That's a confirmation. Hello, can anyone confirm that you are viewing this slide written a brief history? Hello, anybody to confirm? Anyone to confirm? Are you seeing this slide written a brief history? Silence, I assume people are seeing it. You can write on the chat. I can see. All right. So a brief history going backwards, looking at the research which started from 1950 with a campaign to improve our mental health hospitals or institutions. From psychiatric perspective, we will call them hospitals. From psychological perspective, we'll call them institutions. Since, all right, thank you very much for your response. Feedback means a lot. Since people who are mentally challenged or who are experiencing some mental related issues, which are not diseases, they are our clients. We don't call them patients. So how to improve our mental institutions as well. Architects in charge of building these hospitals were more concerned with the structure rather than the human needs. We should have one room, this room, cage there, what there, and so on and so on and so on, rather than the human needs. Okay, you put a cage, you put black color, gray color, but does it like pose any influence? All right. So they tend to also gather psychologists for information on cognition, social, and human behavior. How do people think in vital settings? Also, in their social settings, when they say they are at this place, how do they tend to behave, as well as the human behavior interaction with certain environments and then their influences. That is the same thing that when you say people go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, you see people have a negative feeling towards that. It's because of the stereotyping and also the structure of the environment that psychologists are always seeing around. people just run to the aspect of saying maybe you're mentally crazy or some sort of that. But it's not always in that scenario that one who is mentally disturbed or having a mentally deprivation in terms of their productivity who visit mental institutions. So this collaboration between architects and psychologists create a field called architectural psychology. Or in another words, it influences what today we also call ergonomics as well. So over some of those years, so the field expanded beyond architecture to parks, landscape, they including environmental psychology as well. So it starts from research and also seeing how does it influence people or how do people, engage with such environment. And also, apart from going to hospitals, how can we benefit from our environment? Some people, they say when you travel to a new environment or a new continent or country, they say, take the soil, put it in water, and then drink the water so that you won't get diseases in that area. That is also other context. Some, they say when you visit a certain area, there are certain rituals that you can do, not like spiritual rituals, but doing certain things. Like for example, taking the soil is a part of the ritual. Some, it depends with whatever you will do when you visit a certain place. Some they say a day, find time to, uncover your shoes. I mean, uncover your feet, remove all your shoes, socks, and step your feet down straight to the ground. Like you have to, like to step bare feet on the ground. Some they say, it gives, that vibration, energy, whatever that they always explain. But so many people I've heard who also share such a concept as well, even elders. So some of the psychologists, they began trying to solve these problems through improved design, and then a field that started with investigating color, share arrangement, tracking visitors in national parks, studying the stresses associated with urban commuting or urban trafficking as well, or urban traffic, sorry, as well as crowding in urban areas. It's also another issue. The life of people in urban areas to say with living in villages or in crowded places to say with areas where there's enough space. We together, I believe we are still together. One of the theory that was has been adopted as well, Becker's ecological theory. So Becker's ecological theory, it tries to look at the significant findings in environmental psychology. So Roger Becker was a researcher in psychology who was having a research station in Kansas. I believe that is America, 1947. So he ran through it, or he conducted so many studies there. One of the theories that he developed through field observations or participant observations, I might say. So field observations, these are natural observations, which are not tempered or manipulated by the researcher. Then he wrote social settings influence behavior. Okay, we are running out of time. Okay, next meeting we'll just rejoin. All right, once this one goes, we'll just rejoin. Then in the next meeting, we'll ask questions and so on. So he wrote theory social settings influence behavior. For example, in a store, people assume their roles as customers. In school, church, and then proper behavior is somehow coded in such places. Are we together? Is that I believe we all agree when we go to hospitals, we have certain behaviors that we tend to have. And also for those who assume they're Christians or who are Christians, when you are in churches, there's a certain behavior that you possess. And also after, attending your services from, I believe, from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, depending on how you observe Sabbath, some, because of visiting the places, they bring those principles during the week. I heard one person was saying, like, I didn't go to church, probably that's why I'm misbehaving. So it comes with this aspect, like the roles that comes with this, with the environment. And also Becker spent his career expanding on what he called ecological psychology. Ecology, we just refer to nature, identifying these behavior settings, or the behavior setting remains a valid principle which receives serious attention. How the environment influence the way we, that was the Becker's question. All right, now moving to another concept, architect, which is also another influence when it comes to environmental settings. Architecture provides setting for certain activities. Architecture referring to the built settings that are around us, including informational, charts, billboards, and anything that is erected by a human being for their benefit and purpose. It reminds people of what certain activities are. It creates a place for you to do a class, for example. It reminds you what activities are you supposed to carry here. And then also it signifies power, status, or privacy. The more resourceful you are, the better your house becomes. I believe that is natural to people. If not natural, or if people don't like it, if you are among the people, please, you can share so we know. It also expresses and supports beliefs. Then comes to most churches and or anything in relation to places of worship, including traditional areas, including shrines for religious purposes and also for traditional purposes. And then it communicates information, the time a building was built, the climate, thickness of the walls, and so on. So it communicates information. There are some buildings that are well celebrated because of the age that, they have gone through. So it communicates such information. It helps establish individual or group identity. Home versus classroom studio. Anything like that. So establish individual or group identity. Home studios or home or classrooms, anything in regards to that. There's a difference between your room and also your classroom. And it encodes value systems. So different types of buildings with different cultures. All cultures don't share the same thing. You'll find various buildings in different places, depending on the setup of people, who they are, how they were brought up to be where they are, as well as other valuable content in regards to people, cultural beliefs, and so on. So designers are very much liable in looking at those designing places in respect to prospective users, who is going to be here, what are they going to do, and also their responsibility to enable users where they are, how they can reach or use the provided services as well. And also some designers, they need to communicate some of these messages in order to be able to do this. So they need to understand how people perceive their surroundings. You cannot go to a place where people believe in a certain religion and then go build your Christian faith. Or you cannot go to another place, then you build your Islam mosque. You cannot go anywhere and start to preach whatever you think is the correct way. Or you cannot go to another area and start to impose your tradition. So that is the issue where designers need to communicate some of these messages. There are some areas where the moment that you just look at the area, you can tell that we are not needed here. Either due to the construction of the place, how it's structured, or there are informational signs that are telling you that danger scaling. Approach this side, you will die. Or electricity will deal with you. Some of those are those kind of things that communicate messages to surrounding people. So areas of study, wayfinding, and then effects of noise, population density. Those are some of the areas that wayfinding is how able can we connect to our town? How can we access our town, our place we stay in, without a third party? The effect of noise pollution. If you just honk your bell on your car, some point in time, if there are people who understand their rights, you can be arrested. That's noise pollution. Population density, high density on humans, density on social behavior, effects of crowding, and so on. Then effects of urban life, because urban life is detached from nature, environmental solutions to such urban problems, looking at space and territorial behavior, residential environment, and so on and so on and so on as well. So those are some of the problems or areas that environmental psychology or people who study environmental psychology look into, so that they can deal with such scenarios for the betterment of people. or for solving such interactional problems in regards to our environment. So one of the most important functions of a theory in psychology at large, it helps to provide generalizations that give order and meaning to specific observations about person, environment, relations. We are going to look at this theory about Abraham Maslow, which can give us or provide a generalization that gives order and meaning to certain environments or specific observations that we have done, per se, to person, environment, relationships. Let's look at Maslow hierarchy of needs. Maslow hierarchy of needs. I believe some have read about it. Probably those who have done a subject in business management have told about Maslow hierarchy of needs. Maslow studied exemplary people such as Albert Einstein, Eleanor Roosevelt, Frederick Douglass, and also mental ill or neurotic people. And then Maslow wrote, the study of crippled, stunted, immature, unhealthy specimens can yield only a crippled psychology and a crippled philosophy. So that's why Abraham Maslow was focusing on prominent people, or exemplary people that have recorded success in their life or have conducted certain things or have proved humanity is intelligent. So Maslow studied these healthy personnel. So you will study healthy people at areas. So thus he wrote about Maslow hierarchy of needs or theory of motivation. So Maslow's theory of motivation based on needs that people have. Motivation on people. All right, on motivation based on the needs that people have. Very good example. You arrange them in order of importance. That is coming from the physical needs, starting from physical needs, social needs, emotional needs, and then as it goes to self-actualization and so on. So there's 1 minute left. All right. So we will proceed from there. So let's cancel this meeting so that we just start over another one and then we reconnect and then we proceed from there. So now keep your questions. If you have questions, you can throw them or you can write them under chat so that when we are going through, I just see the question and then answer it accordingly. All right.